got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it all.
I did 28 years. So here I am 28 years later, sitting here with Bobby. That was due to me, as y'all see my brand, never not working, man. And if you're in that situation, you have to put in the work, man. You write all the letters you can to every organization, to anybody that you feel is gonna listen, man. And you learn the law. You know what I'm saying? You know your case better than anybody, man. And you know, they're gonna give you a lawyer. And I'm gonna tell you there's a difference between a lawyer and an attorney. A lot of people don't know this. So a lawyer is gonna represent the status quo. An attorney is gonna represent you. Thank God I had attorneys. You know, I was stuck with some lawyers, but when you get an attorney and you know your case and you know the law, you know, they're gonna know that they just can't tell you anything. So anyone that's you know, I know the guys inside won't be able to see this, but if you have if you're a family member of someone that's doing time for something they didn't do, I suggest you have them write the New England Innocence Project, CPCS Innocence Projects, and Boston College Innocence Project. And you have, you know, go online, you can find them. They're on Instagram,
I'll try
Facebook.
To leave links in the description on YouTube too.
And you let them know what you know. And most times what'll happen is it may take a long time for them to get back to you. When they get back to you, when they're interested, they'll send a questionnaire about the case, where the appeal process is. And from there, the individual, your family member or loved one will fill that out and they'll send it back. It's a long process. You know, it's not something that happens overnight. Once Brandeis took my case, it was a 12-year fight, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Walk me through that fight, man. Step by step, they finally take your case. That next is what, you talking to these people on the phone? Do you
well,
write
I'm
them?
gonna be honest, man. When I had been denied so many appeals, right, that you kind of just, you
Throw
know,
something on the wall, see if it sticks.
yeah, man. And you're like, man, you know. So when they contacted my mom and contacted me, there was no excitement.
Right.
And they couldn't understand, well, you're not excited. I said, because I've had people come in before and want to help. And what happens is you have people come in, they want to help, then they hit a wall. You know, they don't, and then they just fall to the wayside. So when they came, when the Schuster came on with Florence, that's how I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? And it just turned out like they were just there, man. The students would come and visit me to get to know me. And it was funny because every time a student would come up, because they're looking at the case, but they don't know whether I'm innocent or not.
Right.
But
everybody says they're innocent.
Right.
And
but
that's how it is. Everybody does say, you know, and for, you know, different reasons too. There's appeals and, you know, if you got a chance to get out, you get out. You know, but.
And it seemed like after each student came and visited me, when they went back, they would be like, yo, he's innocent. You know what I'm saying? And when someone believes in your innocence, they work, for me, I believe they just work extra hard.
Right.
And these students went, man, and each one of them had their own task. You know what I'm saying? And that was good, man. They would send me a lot of literature on certain things, and I would read a lot, man. I would help them the best I could, because again, they don't know law.
Right.
They're just investigative journalist students. But there were ups and downs, Bobby, man. And you know, after so long, man, appeals are being denied, you start to wonder, like, am I ever gonna get out of here?
Right.
You
Is it even worth getting my hopes
Yeah,
up?
man.
You know, would it be easier to just accept it? And you know, you think about it all, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna tell you a story, right? I remember waking up one time, man, about maybe 15 years ago, man, and might have been 13 to 15 years ago. At Old Colony, man, I woke up at about 3:30, 4 in the morning. And I looked at the walls, man, and I'm like, yo, this might be it for you. I said, there's gonna be people that you never see again as long as you're doing life in prison. Then I realized that I was gonna lose my mom and my pops. And because I was doing life, the DOC wasn't gonna let me go to the funeral.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever had a jawbreaker, and you know, it felt like there was a jawbreaker in my throat and I couldn't swallow, man. And it's like, you start now to prepare yourself for the loss of your mother. And understand, my mother was my best friend. Right. And the loss of your pops. And you start to get this hardening of the heart so that you are able to deal with it when they come. Like you're preparing yourself for that. Right. And that's where I was at one point, man. You know what I mean? And
that's a scary place to be.
It is. It is, because you start to digress from going to the law library on a regular basis. You start to take on a certain mentality where, you know, I'm just living every day for every day, whatever's whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you go through that, man. I'm fortunate that I had a Sean Ellis, Droop, you know, a Kevin Francis, man, that kept me pushing, man.
These are
other dudes, man. So my cousin Droop, he's home. Sean Ellis is home. Y'all already know Trial 4, man, on Netflix. And my man Kevin, man, kids, he's still there, still fighting. But these are brothers that kept me, like, pushing me, you know. And Sean was instrumental in me learning a lot about the law as well, you know. But
there's a lot of people in there that would rather see people crash out and do other stuff too. So it's good when you find those type of people.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly.
So you're working with the New England Innocence Project, right? Is that what it?
Well,
what it was that,
CPCS. What happened was Florence. They had this memo. They had like 300 and something pages, and they called it the Innocence Memo. And that memo had so many things in it that pointed towards my innocence. And Florence, being, again, an investigative journalist and very persistent, stayed on Lisa Kavanaugh, who was the director of CPCS Innocence Project. And she stayed on until she got a meeting. And when she went in there with the meeting and she hit her with that 300-page memo, Lisa, when she read it, she said, we're taking this case. Right. So I had CPS Innocence Project taking my case. And of course, the New England Innocence Project ended up getting involved as well. And it was, from there, the fight was on, man. You know what I mean?
And then so you got all the students, they're all working for you. You know, you're working together, you're doing your studying and all that. So what is it that gets you back in front of a judge? Is it emotion?
Well, what happened was, you know, I don't really like to get into it because it's still, you know, like I said, Commonwealth versus Steve Pina, y'all. But
to the extent.
It ended up being prosecutorial and police misconduct. Okay. So there was some information that was withheld that should have been turned over that wasn't. And again, these students did it. They pulled it up, man. And that allowed me to be able to file a Rule 30 under a miscarriage of justice. Okay. I wish I could talk more about it, but that's what ultimately led to it.
Now, is this something? Did you get released? Did you have to go to court and get released from court that day? Like, well, walk me through that day.
Understand, COVID was going on. COVID was going on, so every one of my court appearances, when that happened, were via Zoom. And I remember having scheduled a Zoom, and I think the Zoom was supposed to be on a Friday. And my lawyer I called my lawyer, and he was like, yeah, the judge postponed it, which again, I'm pissed off. Like, damn, man, like, but he was like, he postponed it because he wants you to be in front of him. He wants them to bring you in. And I'm like, for what? He's like, listen, this could be a good thing. Right. But in my head, I'm like, man, listen, man, I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, bro, strip, get on it, sit in court all day and then come back here.
It's a whole thing. People don't understand.
Yeah, and I said, I'm not going. And my lawyer said, yeah, you're going. So we're going to get that out. You will be there. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But I remember getting in the shower that morning, you know, usually when you go to court, you throw on your best visiting clothes. Man, I threw on my Timberlands, I threw on my my state jeans and my chambray shirt, brother. You know what I'm saying? And I was like in the shower and I'm saying, you know, yeah, man, I'm gonna be taking the shower tonight, man. I'm not even going, you know what I mean? And I remember getting to court and the lawyer coming up and I'm like, man, are we in my head just for him to give me another date, man? Like, you know what? Like every time we come to court, every time we got a Zoom, it's just another date. Yep. So they bring me down. I don't notice anybody in the courtroom, bro. You know, because I'm just, you know, I see one person that has on a light colored sweater. I found out who it is later, but other than that, I didn't see anybody. I sit down, you know, and judge comes in, and the first thing he says is, yeah, we're gonna do this date, this date. I heard the date, man, and I said to myself, this motherfucker, man. And I just, Bobby, I didn't hear nothing for at least 30 to 45 minutes of him talking. And then I remember him saying, because we had filed this, what they call motion to stay, and he had denied it previously. So I hear him say, okay, now, is there anything else? So I kind of like paid attention. He said, we're going to address the motion to stay. You have one of those pending us. You know, the lawyer's like, yeah. He says, well, as for the motion to stay, I'm going to grant that, and I'm going to release you today. So after he said that, brother, I didn't hear nothing else again. And he goes into the whole thing, and I dropped my head. You know, some tears came down. My lawyer got his hand on my shoulder, and I can feel him shaking. And I'm saying to myself, yo, did this dude just say, I'm going home today, man? Like, I just couldn't. And all I remember was, you know, all rides for him to leave, and then the court officers came to get me, and I was going up the stairs, and I stumbled, man. And the officer grabbed me, and he goes, what's the first thing you gonna do? Have a steak? I said, nah, the first thing I'm gonna do is hug my son. Because this would have been the first time I'm able to hug my son outside of prison. Wow. So I'm up in the holding cell, man, and I'm sitting there, and I'm anxious, like, yo, when they gonna come open the door? When they gonna, and I'm sitting down, I get up, I walk to the, you know how, you know, walk to the holding cell, and I'm like, sit back down, tears are coming down, and I'm like, yo, are they gonna hurry up? And then it hit me. You going home today. Wow. Got up, I walked to the door, stood at the door, and I said, you going home today. And I realized, I don't care what time they come to open this door, bro, I'm going home today.
By this time tomorrow,
I'm going to be home.
It'll be a memory, everything I just went through.
So, bro, they come upstairs, man. When they come up, I come out the holding cell, and I sit on the bench for them to put the shackles on. You know, because that was the normal routine. Right. Like, and they was like, nah, you don't need it. And I'm like, huh? So I get up, man. I walk downstairs with my lawyer, man. And I remember, in this video of it too, I might have to send that to you. Yeah, but I remember them opening the door and hearing everybody scream. And then people running to me and me waving them away. Because the only person I wanted to hug at that time was my son. Right. And the girl that was sitting with my son had to nudge him and say, yo, and he's like, stand up, there's your dad. And he's standing there, she's like, yo, go. And I'm telling him, yo, come. And when I grabbed him, bro, it was just like, you know, my mom couldn't be there because she was sick. But it was, and I held him, and my boys in the background saying, yeah, baby, get that in, hug your boy, hug your boy, yeah, cuz, hug your boy. And that's all you heard, man. What my man TT, that's all you heard. Hug your boy, cuz, yeah, man. And you know. That's beautiful, bro. And then, you know, Sean Ellis was there, man, and people don't understand the relationship that him and I have. And I look at him, and you know, people said, damn, bro, you looking at him like you was in a relationship. I said, the relationship we had wasn't what y'all, you know, wasn't, you know, it was one of them where this is my brother from day one. And we built together. We studied law together. He taught me law. And when he came home, he advocated for me. So to see him on the other side of that wall or the other side of that door, man, was emotional. You understand what I'm saying? And I hugged him, man, like
That's a
it was, you know,
brotherhood.
And then going home, I remember, man, it was raining. My son gives me his phone. I'm talking to different people. My mother's at home. Somebody called her and let her know, like, yeah, he's coming home, but I don't think it registered with her. And I remember walking into my building, and I got my hands, and I'm like, 1820, 1850, I'm in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm out, my cousin's there, my family's there. I'm hugging my little nephew, man. And I remember going upstairs, because my mother lives on the 6th floor, and I'm telling everybody, go in first, go in first. And everybody goes in. I can hear my mother like, oh, you here too? And she's hugging everybody. I come to the door, and I'm sitting there like at the door like this, like, yeah. So the last person goes in, and my mother said, oh, you here too? You know? And then I walk in. And she just like, oh God, my baby. And, you know, and it was just a whole nother thing. And you hear again, that's right, dog, get it in, cuz. You know what I'm saying? And like, she's, oh, my baby's home. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And it's like, you know, just that. And then there were so many people in the house. I didn't know, like, remember, like, who was actually there until I looked back at the video, man. But it was a hell of a feeling, man. And the judge had put the GPS on me. And what was crazy is the motion to stay means they stay your sentence while you come home and wait for a decision.
Okay.
So when the judge, you know, read the motion, he said, there's a strong likelihood I'm going to overturn this conviction, so I'm going to release you on your motion to stay. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, you know, I had the 8 o'clock curfew. It's 6 o'clock. My boys and like, yo, let's go to the mall right quick. Get you something to wear tomorrow. And I'm like, man, listen, bro, I'm not leaving. I got 8 o'clock. Nah, we gonna make sure you back. And I remember going into the mall. First time in the mall, bro, but I'm with them. And what stands out the most is I go to CBS. Sean is standing beside me, but like he's standing beside me, but he's in the back. And he's just paying it. He's like, and he says to me, I'm gonna play the back and just let you. I'm sitting there, Bobby, man, and I'm looking for the blue cap, the pink cap, and the green cap, and the deodorants. Because, you know, I'm looking for that, man. And I don't see that. I see all these deodorants, all this toothpaste, all these shampoos, all these toothbrushes, bro. And I'm in.
So many options.
I'm getting overwhelmed inside. I call him Side, but Sean comes up and he goes, it's all right, bro. Take your time. Instantly, I start remembering, what's the last commercial you saw?
Right.
Jergens, Dove. Bro, I left out of there with like $90 worth of cosmetics, bro. Started grabbing all the Dove products, you know what I'm saying? But,
absolutely.
You know.
It's freedom for you, man.
Yeah, man. It was
Sounds like a beautiful day.
Yeah,
bro.
man. It was, man. It was beautiful. And at the same time, scary.
Right.
You know, that first night was, I remember this dude, Bobby, that was inside, man. Bobby Evans, he told me, it's a Japanese word for it, but he says to me, when we're in prison, there's certain sounds we can sleep through. Jingling the keys, doors closing, people yelling. And those were the sounds I was used to for 28 years. Right. So now when I come home, I'm hearing horns honk, cars going.
Yeah.
Bro, I can't sleep for nothing because these sounds are foreign to me. And my first night, you know, was tough, you know, falling asleep. And I remember waking up the next morning and like, I'm in my mom's house. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Waking up and
man, and it didn't register. First time I'm sleeping under the same roof as my mother in 28 years. First time ever I'm sleeping under the same roof with my son, who was born a month after I went in. So all he knew was prison visits. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I remember at 5 o'clock in the morning, one of my boys comes knocking on the door. I open the door. He's like, let's go to breakfast. I said, bro, I'm not leaving this house till my son wake up, man, and see me in there, man. You know, and for him to wake up and come in the living room, man, and see me, it was just, that was just a whole nother emotional thing, man.
So
you know
doing 28 years, even if someone is guilty and that's their sentence and they serve, there's like still trauma associated with that.
Yeah,
talk to me about like a little bit of your trauma, like knowing you're innocent and being there for that long.
I spent more time in prison than I did on the street.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a trauma that we don't even realize, man. There's a PTSD that we suffer from. And I remember a caseworker telling me, guys in prison don't suffer. PTSD is for veterans. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, because every morning I wake up, I'm waking up in a war zone. You understand what I'm saying? And there's a post-traumatic trauma or post-traumatic syndrome. Call it what you want, man. It's real. It is what it is. Right. And for me, you know, I'm dealing with stuff that other people don't understand, man, except people that have been through that situation. And I tell people, I'm wired different. Dudes that have done the time I've done. Anyone that has done time in prison, we wire different, man. There's a certain detachment that we have because we have to. Yeah, we have to detach. Yep. You know, we have to, man. So part of my never not working is never not working to get back to a normalcy that I remember. Right. The problem with that, Bobby, and I realized this probably a week and a half ago, that normalcy that I'm trying to get back to may not even be the normalcy. But because of my post-incarceration trauma and syndrome, I'm not allowing myself to even recognize, I'm saying it to you, but to actually say, this may be your normalcy here. You know, I'm dealing with that. And everybody's trauma is different. So part of my business, Never Not Working Enterprise LLC, is me never not working to get back to that. Me never not working to deal with being home. And then there was other side of the wall. So when I came home, I would be like, yo, never not working, because that's what it took for me to get home. Right. Other side of the wall, because I made it on the other side of the wall. And whenever I would run into dudes that I was locked up with, I'd take a selfie, boom, and I would be like, yo, hug them, we made it on the other side of the wall. Then I looked around, Bobby, and I started seeing some of my boys having their own businesses and nonprofits. And I'm like, yo, y'all bounce back. Right. So it was like, other side of the wall, we bounce back. Don't count us out. And I remember my lady saying to me, well, first of all, that just don't count with incarceration. It just ain't about incarceration. I'm like, what you mean? Right. She said, babe, there's people on the other side of the wall of addiction, homelessness, depression, sexual assault, and just trauma in general. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about those people that get on that other side of the wall of that. Let's talk about their bounce back. Right. See what I'm saying? Yep. And then the never not working, bro, that just applied, like you right now, never not working to bring awareness to incarceration, man. Right. Never not working to keep your job. Never not working to, if you in the gym, you never not working to get big. Right. If you're trying to lose weight, you never not working to lose weight, man. Whatever it is, if you're trying to graduate from college, you never not working to keep that 4.0, whatever it is, man. So
work, and you got to find joy in the actual work, and not always the outcome, because the outcome is sometimes it may not ever be like an outcome. So say I get to the desired weight I wanted to, what do you stop? Nah, you're gonna get it back.
You gotta, keep going. You never not working.
You gotta just fall in love with the work and with the journey, and less about the end goal. You know, just do what you can do today to get a step closer to whatever it is. Whether that's a business, you have a certain amount of money you want to make, you got a certain car you want to get. You gotta ask yourself today: did I do something that contributed to that? Did I actually take a step back?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And just sitting around and just make. Like, you doing so much time, like I try to tell people, y'all got it backwards. Time is the real currency. You can make more money. You can't make more time.
You can't. Once that's gone, that 28 years is gone. And I tell people, people say, oh, you did 28 years. Y'all don't realize, because I'm still Commonwealth versus Massachusetts, because I still have this GPS on, this year and a half I've been home, that counts. So it's 29 and a half years of a wrongful conviction. Now, my mission since I've been home has been to bring awareness to not just post-incarceration trauma from wrongful conviction, but that trauma from conviction, period. Also, my mission is to bring awareness to wrongful conviction, bro. It's real. People don't realize it's real. They see shit on the TV and they be like, yeah, that's isolated. That don't, nah, it's real. And when I introduce myself to people, when I say that to them, most times I get a hug because they be like, what? You know what I'm saying?
But there's no actual incentive for justice. I call it the conviction system. The incentive for the DA is to rack up as many convictions as you can,
bro.
It's not about just, don't call it, like you said, the justice. You know what I mean? It's the conviction system. They don't fight for justice. There's no incentive for justice. There's no incentive to let somebody out that they know is innocent. That should be worth 20 convictions. That should be worth everything. That's your whole character. You should be able to run for some, you know what I mean? It should be a lot more incentivized than it is, but it's really not. It's all about numbers, stats, stats.
National Wrongful Conviction Day was October 2nd. The New England Innocence Project and the Exonerate Network put a rally together September 30th, man, where we marched from the DeWitt Center to Nubian Square. And with posters of people whose families were there about the wrongful conviction of their loved ones, man. And I remember reading something there where it says, no innocent man should spend one day in prison. Right? And I said, not only have we spent one day in prison, we spent, for me, 28 years, for another brother, 32 years, for another brother that was there 48 years, for another brother that was there 52 years.
Those are
and I said,
crazy numbers.
And you'll probably have the video, I said, wrongful conviction is an epidemic, bro. Right. But because it affects us, they don't see it that way. If whites were wrongfully convicted at the rate of black and brown men and women in this country, they would be saying it's an epidemic. And they would be saying, yo, what can we do to change the law? The legislators would be trying to do everything in their power because as far as I remember, man, heroin was in my community for as long as I can remember, bro.
I always say that too, yep.
You understand?
70s, 80s was big. Frank Lucas was, there's a whole movement. No kid till these suburban white people started dying. Heroin, yeah.
We talking about heroin.
Yeah.
But as soon as it got out to the suburbs, it became opioid and it became an epidemic and it became, let's do something about this. I remember back in the days, if somebody was shooting up on the corner, they go to jail automatically. I drive down Mass and Cass, man, and I see the police across the street and these people just banging.
Yeah.
And I'm saying,
what?
Yeah. Like once it affected white folk, man, it became an epidemic. Well, we need that for the criminal legal system. You understand what I'm saying? To get that same type of tenacity to change some things, man. So that, my goal, my fight, man, is forever to bring awareness to wrongful conviction, man.
I'm trying to get this out by early next, anything coming up within the next couple, anything you want to put out there that people could show up, show their support.
Right now, man, they just had a press conference October 2nd. They just had a hearing for the joint venture thing. There's a 3/5 of the man thing going on where they're trying to get voting rights back into guys that are incarcerated, man. And I remember testifying in front of the judiciary about, guys inside need to have the right to vote so that we can have a say in who is being appointed in the legislations and that's going to change the law, man. There's also the juvenile thing that they're waiting on. And then there's the We Are Joint Venture. So the We Are Joint Venture, man, they're trying to get the legislators to change that law because it's a theory, it's not a law.
Talk about what is joint. I know what it is. In Massachusetts, people don't know what is joint venture.
Joint venture is this.
And is it just like a Massachusetts thing? Is it different state by state?
I don't know if it's different state by state, man, but I know like if me and you go into a store and you go in the back to buy a soda and I decide I'm going to rob the store and I shoot the clerk and I kill him and you and I leave together, and we get caught, they're going to charge you with first-degree murder like they charged me. Now, the DA may know I'm the one who did the shooting. They may have it on camera and all, and they know. But they're going to charge you with it as well. So I may take the plea of a second, and you saying, well, nigga, I ain't do nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the hoop. But then when you go to the hoop, you thinking you going to trial for first-degree murder, and you get there, and the DA says, well, Your Honor, we're charging him with joint venture theory. Wow. You're unprepared for that. And I remember going to the last hearing, and one of the brothers at Norfolk coming in and testifying, saying, no one should be doing life without parole based on a theory or a rule. Right. That's not even law. You know, and some of the guys were saying, listen, I take responsibility for being at whatever crime it was, but the person that actually killed the person is home now, and here I am doing life. Right. Like, hold me accountable. Because if the state says, okay, we're going to hold you accountable, and then this happens, well, when is the state accountable? Right. You understand what I'm saying? Nope. When are you accountable, man? They're not held accountable enough, DA and all that. Yeah, those are the things that are going on right now, man. You know, the Harriet Tubman Project is one thing that I'm heavy with.
Solar Born in here, Jackie, and they were speaking
upon man.
Free Fuquan movement.
Free Fuquan, brother.
Free Fuquan.
This brother is an amazing brother, man. And in fact, he's the one who inspired Never Not Working, because whenever I would see him, that's what he was doing, never not working, bro. And you know, my being part of the Harriet Tubman Project, which is, y'all know, Harriet Tubman got freed, or she escaped. She was free, but she was still fighting because she came back to get other slaves. Me being free but still fighting, I have to go back and get another brother. So in my going back means anytime a brother from inside calls me and says, listen, man, such and such is going to court, or anytime the Exoneree Network or the Innocence Project says, well, there's a rally or there's a hearing, I'm there, because that is part of my fight in bringing my other brothers that are wrongfully convicted home, and my other brothers that are unjustly in prison. Right. You know what I'm saying? Dudes been in prison too long, man. Dudes are going to prison at 16, 17. Them ain't the same brothers, bro.
Two different people.
They're not the same people that they was. If we was all judged on what we did when we were 16 and 17, man, a lot of politicians, a lot of great people wouldn't be where they are. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
I would say the fact that we got our our record is like, that's sometimes like, that's a list of our worst mistakes. You could take anybody and put a list of their 5 worst mistakes, even if it's not crimes, and make them out to be a horrible human being.
Of course, of course, man.
But hey, man, we don't have too much time left, man. I just wanted to here's your chance. Take the floor. Tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, other_side of the wall. On that page, I'm selling my T-shirts, man. This is bringing awareness to the other side of the wall. We bounce back. They're never not working. You're going to see me in these, and anytime I wear something, this is another other side of the wall. We bounce back. And I gave Bobby one, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to rock it in the next one.
Yeah, the newest design, man. But these shirts, man, when you wear it, I want you to feel resilient. I want you to feel that you're a fighter. If you see somebody with one of these on, know that they fought. There's something they've been through, man, that they got through it. I'm also on Facebook, Stephen Pina Sr. I'm on TikTok too. Really don't know how to rock with TikTok, but I think it's Stephen Pina 225 or 255, something like that. I'm on YouTube, but don't ask me what the thing is, because I don't, you know, some of these I'm still learning, mind y'all, you know, been 28 years.
Yeah, but send me all the links, and I'm going to drop the links in the description of this.
But I'm definitely on Instagram, other_side of the wall, and Pina, SR.S. Both of those on Instagram, man. DM me if you need me to show up at a rally that you're doing that deals with anything dealing with injustice. Call me, and I will try to be there. You know what I'm saying? Peace, man. And I appreciate you having me on here, bro.
It's my guy, Steve Pina, man. Stephen Pina. I'm Bobby Lucas. This is the Bounce Back, man. Thanks for tuning in. On that note, we out. It is what it is. What's next is what you make it.
Bounce back. back and got a moment. When they see you down, just know they